Welcome back to another episode of the 10-minute round. It's been a bit, had to celebrate the holidays. My birthday was last week, so took a little hiatus. Just to be completely transparent with you, I did record a very long episode earlier this week. I covered everything from UFC 309 because I never got around to it. I covered the Peter Yan versus Davidson Figueiredo fight. And then I covered the entire UFC 310 card because there are a lot of really, really great matchups on this card. I went through all of it. And then when I went to edit the video, I realized I didn't record any audio. I was pretty devastated. I don't know when the last time I was, this devastated. Maybe the ending of Game of Thrones. I'm not sure. But I still want to put something out, even if it's just a quick, short video on UFC 310 because I'm really excited about this card. There are some really, really good fights. The main event, as far as name value, is weak. I know it's not going to attract a lot of the casual MMA audience, but it's still a good matchup. I'm going to talk a little bit about that one, but really I want my main focus here to be on the co-main event because, that's the fight on this card. That is the one. So real quick, I'm just gonna, shout out a few of the fights on the overall card that I think are gonna be great. Starting with Joshua Van versus Cody Durden. If you haven't seen Joshua Van fight, slow starter, usually kind of takes the first round to make some reads, but by the second and third round, that boy puts it on people. The body shots are disgusting. The way that he beat Edgar Chairez during the Sphere card was nasty. The kid knows what he's doing. I think the Brian Battle versus Randy Brown fight is going to be great. I'm curious to see what that Aljamain Sterling versus Mosov Evulov, I said that right? Looks like. Dooho Choi versus Nate Landwehr. There's some really, really good fights, some good matchups on this card. So I'm really excited about it. Also, the ghost of Chris Weidman is making an appearance. They're rebooked from UFC 309. Personally, I don't think Chris Weidman is at that stage anymore, so we'll see how this one goes. Eric Anders is kind of a more reasonable opponent for him to fight against, but also Chase Hooper versus who's he fighting? Clay Guida. Chase Hooper's like a minus 1,200 favorite. That's wild. I like Chase Hooper. I do think he's going to win this fight, but minus 1,200 is kind of insane for a dude who has the striking of a wacky, waving, inflatable, flailing arm man, It is what it is. Bryce Mitchell probably going to bring in the Bible to fight Kron Gracie. A lot of beautiful things are bound to happen on this card. We're going to get some good moments. That being said, the main event, Kaya Sakura versus Alexandra Pantoja. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think that it's stylistically, it's going to make for a very interesting affair, man. Kaya Sakura is a big boy. He fought at 135 at Ryzen. He's going to fight at 125 here. Mind you, I do think he can make 125, but what is he going to lose with those extra 10 pounds? What is it, a cardio thing? Is he going to be able to do 5 hard rounds? Because Pantoja's a tough cookie. He's a tough guy to put away. He's 9-0 against the other top 10 flyweights in the division. He's not a guy who goes away. He's just, he's like, I don't know, a bad case of hemorrhoids. He's not going to go away without a fight. So I'm curious to see how this one goes. Kaya Sakura has power. He has good takedown D. He's good at keeping the fight on the feet. Is he going to be able to put Pantoja away? Is Pantoja going to just will his way to another victory? Probably a lot of grappling control, a lot of jumping on his back. Maybe a post-fight interview asking where his dad is at. I'm not sure. It's going to be a good main event. But the reason that we're here, the reason that anybody is going to buy this pay-per-view, besides, it being a good card, let's be real, it's going to be the co-main event. The co-main event, the old dark horse of the 170-pound division, Shavkat Rakhmonov, the best thing to come out of Kazakhstan. I can't even talk anymore. I'm struggling. It's pretty early in the morning. Let me take a sip of coffee real quick. Ready? All right, let's do that again. Shavkat Rakhmonov, the best thing to come out of Kazakhstan since Borat, is fighting the future Ian my wife's husband's last name, Machado Garry. This is going to be a fantastic fight, no matter how you feel about Ian Garry. I know he comes off as a bit of a fucking chode in his interviews. He always overpromises and underdelivers in his fights. That being said, he is undefeated. He has fought 8 times in the UFC. He's won every time. Some of those, fights against better competition have gone to split decision. They've been kind of close. When he's talking all this smack about how he's going to put these people away, how he's going to outstrike MVP, when it doesn't come to fruition, it kind of makes him look a little silly, but he's still winning. He's still talented. He still has a lean, lanky frame for the division. He does have power in his hands. He can drop people. His grappling has come a long way. He is a skilled fighter, and he has some huge cojones putting himself in this position, taking probably the most dangerous fight in the division right now on short notice against Shavkat. Shavkat is the dark horse. So if Ian Garry can come in and win on Saturday, his stock is going to shoot through the roof. I respect him for putting himself in this position. This is not a safe play on his part. I'm excited to see if he gets it done. Not that I'm a huge Ian Garry fan or anything like that, but I respect the move. I really do. He came into this sport kind of a little bit of a Conor McGregor clone, kind of, trying to talk that big game, trying to get attention, a little bit of a Conor nut hugger, really. But he's this decision to take this fight shows that he's taking this very seriously, and he has all the world to gain if he can go in here on Saturday and win this fight. Mind you, is he going to win the fight? I kind of think not. It's not that he can't. It's just that you when you look at a guy like Shavkat, he's so well rounded. He has a pretty decent striking. He had that. He's put people away. His ability to finish is like he finishes everybody. And I think that's the main difference here. When you look at the two guys that both men have fought, they both fought Neil Magny, I believe, and they both fought Jeff Neal. Neil Magny, they both kind of dominated. They both schooled Neil, but Shavkat did put him away pretty easily. The Jeff Neal fight, that's kind of the one thing where I worried about Shavkat as far as like game planning and decision making and maybe not taking the path of least resistance in a fight, because Jeff Neal landed some bombs on that boy. He landed some big shots, and to his credit, Shavkat's chin held up, but I don't like the strategy of, hey, let me show you how good my chin is. It's just not, a high-level MMA move to take damage like that. So that is the one part of Shavkat's game where I'm a little concerned. Like, you could have just taken Jeff Neal down and just put him away pretty quickly, but instead he stood and traded with him. The fight went all the way up to the 3rd round, and then he decided, hey, I'm going to choke you like a bouncer dragging a drunk English dude out of a bar, or I guess a pub. But, the decision making leaves a little to be desired, but he still gets the job done. He still puts people away. He's put everybody away in the UFC so far. Can he do the same to Ian Garry? I kind of think he will. I believe it's a 5-round fight. Let me look. I got the reason that my lighting looks like a hostage tape is that I have Tapology, the brightest web page of all time, pulled up back here. But it is a 5-round co-main event. So he has 5 rounds. That's 10 more minutes than he usually has to try to put somebody away. I think he's going to do it. I think he will most likely put Ian Garry away. But if Ian Garry come out there and just shock the world, then, it's that boy's next in line for the title shot. So I'm really excited about this one. I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think the card itself is great. I think there's going to be a lot to talk about Sunday morning. So, I don't know if you're going to buy this one because I know the main event's a little but, if you do, or if you find, certain links that lets you maybe watch this one. Maybe you got to click through a few, ads with, some ladies on there, kind of get through all that thing. Maybe watch the card a little, a couple pauses here and there. Who knows? But I would highly, highly recommend watching this one. I think that's it for this episode. I definitely will talk about this one when it's all said and done. So stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe if you don't mind. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully you can't hear the pool guy outside. I think he might be banging my wife. All right. Peace.